I'm Richard Clarke. I record these talks every day as a way to deepen my inquiry. Listen each day and deepen your own practice. Welcome. I'm reviewing and commenting on the book Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Today is from Talk 616. Maharshi, the self does not come from anywhere else and enter the body through the crown of the head. It is as it is, ever sparkling, ever steady, unmoving, and unchanging. The changes which are noticed are not inherent in the self which abides in the heart and is self-luminous like the sun. The changes are seen in its light. The relation between the self and the body or the mind may be compared to that of a clear crystal and its background. If the crystal is placed against a red flower, it shines red. If placed against a green leaf, it shines green, and so on. The individual confines himself to the limits of the changeful body or the mind, which derives its existence from the unchanging self. All that is necessary is to give up this mistaken identity, and that done, the ever-shining self will be seen to be the single, non-dual reality. The reflection of consciousness is said to be in the subtle body, Sukshma Saraya, which appears to be composed of the brain and the nerves radiating from it to all parts of the trunk, chiefly through the spinal column and the solar plexus. In this talk, Sri Ramana Maharshi clarifies the nature of the self and its relationship to the body and mind. The true self, or Atman, is unchanging, always present and independent of the physical form. The self is not something that enters the body, nor is it affected by the fluctuations of the body or mind. Instead, the self is ever present, like a steady, brilliant light, unaffected by the changes in the world around it. These changes, such as emotions, thoughts, or physical sensations, are not part of the self. They are simply experienced within the light of the self. Ramana uses the analogy of a crystal to explain this idea. Just as a clear crystal reflects different colors when placed against various backgrounds, red against a flower, green against a leaf, the body and mind reflect different experiences, emotions, and thoughts based on their circumstances. But, like the crystal, the true nature of the self remains unchanged. The changes we observe in ourselves or the world around us are not intrinsic to the self. They are simply appearances in the light of the self. The key misunderstanding, according to Ramana Maharshi, is that people usually identify themselves with the body or the mind, thinking that these changing forms represent who they truly are. This mistaken idea of identity leads to suffering and confusion. The body, mind, and thoughts are transient, changeful phenomena, while the self remains constant, shining brightly and unchanged. By letting go of this mistaken identification with the body and mind, you can realize your true nature, which is the eternal, unchanging self. This dialogue also touches on the concept of the subtle body, which is a reflection of consciousness. This subtle body, consisting of the brain and nervous system, serves as the vehicle through which the individual experiences life and the world. However, just as the body and mind are not the true self, the subtle body also does not define who we are. It is subtle in relation to the gross body, but like the body, is a transient experience, not the unchanging self. When we realize our identification with the body and mind, we can recognize that the self, which is beyond all change, is the only reality, the singular, non-dual truth of existence. So know yourself and be always free and at peace. In 40 verses on reality, Ramana Maharshi explains the nature of the self, the ultimate reality, and self-inquiry. My new book, with my comments and inquiry questions, opens these teachings up and brings them into your practice and experience. Available now from Amazon. Link in the video description. These videos bring Ramana's teachings into your direct experience. Click subscribe to see more. Click thumbs up to like, and send questions and start a dialogue with a comment.